All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to tackle a huge question. How does artificial intelligence actually get so smart? It's not magic, but trust me, what's really happening is way more fascinating.
I mean, just think about your own day. How does your phone know your face, like instantly? Or how does Netflix just know what movie you're going to be in the mood for? It feels a little like mind reading, right? So, how does it all really work?
Well, the answer is actually pretty simple, but it's incredibly powerful. These systems, they learn. That's it. They learn from experience. And for an AI, experience just means data. And we're talking about massive, massive amounts of it. This whole learning process, it's basically the engine driving almost every piece of AI you use today. And there's a name for this, of course, machine learning. The key idea is, well, it's right there in the name. Instead of a developer trying to write code for every single possible situation, which would be impossible, they create a model that can figure out the rules for itself, just by learning from a ton of examples. Okay, so what exactly is machine learning? Let's peek behind the curtain and see how this whole learning thing actually happens. The whole process is surprisingly intuitive. It's a lot like how a little kid learns. You show a toddler a few pictures of cats, and pretty soon they just get it. A machine does the exact same thing, just on a completely different scale. We're talking thousands, even millions of cat pictures. It crunches through all of them to find the common patterns. The pointy ears, the whiskers, the tail, all the things that scream cat. All right, so let's get into our first secret recipe. We'll call this one learning with a teacher. This is probably the most common way AI learns, and it's exactly what it sounds like. The AI has a guide every step of the way. Imagine you're studying for a big test, but instead of just a textbook, you also get the complete answer key. That's what this is like for the AI. It gets the questions and the answers right up front. Its job isn't to guess the answers from scratch, but to figure out the why. It's looking for the hidden pattern that connects each question to its correct answer.
And the official name for this is supervised learning. The supervision comes from the fact that a human, the teacher, has already gone through and labeled all the data. So that labeled data becomes the answer key that guides or supervises the whole learning process.
So here's how it breaks down. First, you gather your labeled data. Let's use spam filters as an example. You'd feed the AI a ton of emails that a person has already marked as either spam or not spam. Next, the AI gets to work. It trains itself by digging through all those examples, learning what words, what links, what kind of phrasing usually shows up in spam. Finally, once it's trained, it's ready. You can show it a brand new email it's never seen before, and it can make a really good prediction about whether it's junk or not. And once you know what to look for, you see this stuff everywhere. That spam filter we just talked about? Yep. Your phone unlocking with your face? That too. Predicting house prices? You got it. Even when your smart assistant understands you. That's all powered by supervised learning. Okay, that's great when you have a nice, neat answer key. But what if you don't? What if you just have a giant, messy pile of data with no labels at all? Can an AI do anything useful with that? Oh yeah, it absolutely can. And that brings us to our second recipe, which is all about letting the AI learn on its own. It's all about discovery. Let's go back to that kid analogy. Imagine you just dump a huge box of mixed up toys on the floor. You don't give any instructions, no put the Legos here or all the blue things go over there. What happens? The kid just starts sorting. They naturally begin to group things that are alike. Maybe by color, maybe by shape, maybe they put all the toy cars in one pile. They find the patterns themselves. And that, right there, is the heart of unsupervised learning. There are no right answers to predict. The whole point is just to look at the raw, unlabeled data and find the hidden structures inside of it. The AI is on its own, just looking for interesting patterns. So what does this look like in the real world? Okay, imagine a huge online retailer. They've got the purchase history of millions of customers, just a mess of raw data. They can feed all of that into an unsupervised model. The AI will start sifting through it and grouping customers into clusters based on what they buy. Now, here's the important part. The AI doesn't know what those groups are. It just knows they're similar. A human analyst has to look at the groups and say, aha, this group is our budget shoppers, and this one is our high spenders. The AI finds the clusters, but the human provides the insight. Okay, let's put these two side by side to make it super clear. Supervised learning, you have labeled data, and your goal is to predict an outcome. Think student with an answer key. Unsupervised learning, you have unlabeled data, and your goal is to discover hidden patterns. Think kids sorting a messy toy box. Really, it boils down to one thing: prediction versus discovery. All right, time for our third and final recipe. And this one is completely different from the others. It's not about analyzing data that already exists. It's all about learning by doing. It's learning from trial and error. The best way to think about this is like training a pet. You say sit. If the dog sits, it gets a treat, a reward. If it just stares at you, it gets nothing. Over time, the dog starts to connect the action of sitting with the reward of a treat. It learns what to do to get the good stuff. And that's the core idea behind reinforcement learning. In the AI world, the pet is called an agent. It learns by trying things out in an environment. The whole thing is a constant feedback loop. The agent takes an action, and the environment immediately tells it if that was good, with a reward, or bad, with a penalty. So let's break that down with an example. The agent, that's our AI, the decision maker. Let's say it's a bot learning to play a video game. The environment, that's the world it operates in, so the video game itself. And the reward, well, in a game, that's easy, points. The agent's only goal is to take actions that maximize its score. It learns through millions of attempts which actions lead to a reward. And this method, this is behind some of the most mind-blowing stuff you see in AI. You hear about an AI beating the world's best player at a super complex game like chess or Go? That's reinforcement learning. Robots learning how to walk or pick up an object they've never seen before? Yep. Even the complex decision-making inside a self-driving car, it's all powered by this trial and error approach. Okay, so there you have it. 3 totally different ways that AI can learn: with a teacher, by discovery, and through trial and error. So, why does it matter for you to know any of this? Because these 3 learning styles are literally the foundation of all modern AI. And here's the really cool part. The most advanced systems we have today, they don't just pick one. They mix and match. They might use unsupervised learning to find some unexpected customer groups and then use that new knowledge to train a supervised model to predict what those groups will buy next. They work together, making the AI way smarter than any single method could alone. And that really leaves us with a pretty big thought. We've figured out these incredibly powerful recipes for teaching machines. So as AI gets woven deeper and deeper into our daily lives, the most important question isn't really how they learn anymore. The question we all need to start thinking about is, what should we be teaching them next?